Okay, everything's cool, everything's groovy, so I'm going to read out the following.
Right.
You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
Howdy.
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of June the 22nd to June the 28th, 2024, starting with Go Go Loser Ranger, episode 11, On the Road to My Justice, in which Patroller gets his ass kicked over and over and over again.
I gotta
So many
consider
clones.
this. Yeah, I gotta consider this for like running a game, like running a tabletop or something like that. It's like, have your villain be able to copy himself, and all those copies are legitimately the villain, because it's so satisfying to watch that prick get his ass handed to him over and over again. It's like, oh, that's good though. Yeah, I don't know. It's there's definitely something there that people should do that. Not more, but it's a really good idea. I gotta.
Just that's the main one, but the backup, and it's the backup with the backup to the backup. We found them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're trying to damage him with the cadets are trying to damage him with their gadgets. But the problem is he keeps on locking onto them with his laser beam mouth, killing the oldest one of the cadets, though he takes a very long time to die.
He has time for, like, I put a death speech, and also an opportunity to distract Patroller, while they do their other plan.
Yeah, and it's especially like because it's just like, oh, he's dying. It's like he's got a like a big circular cartoon hole shot in his gut. This isn't the kind of like regular kind of wound that you just like, oh yeah, walk it off. It's like, no, this is a bad one.
Feeling dizzy, bones crushed, slight headache, loss of appetite.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's Angelica, and who's the other lady managed to get the attack in on him?
Cool team up attack. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good because it's basically like he's trying to shoot the big laser sword, with his laser beam, and they're just playing past the parcel, and he'll try and shoot whoever currently has the laser beam. Really good gag.
But she swings it down one way, but then, like, I got your back. She kind of like kicks him in the back and presses him into the blaze so he can't get out.
It's fairly good. Yeah, good shit.
But he takes Angelica as a hostage, and then he's like, we're just gonna have to surrender, give up all our weapons. And Shion's like, are you sure about this? Yeah, because I used him and the other guy, the last two, to give it. Meanwhile, the other woman's run away. We think
like, screw you guys, I'm out of here. Wink.
It turns out he has not given him all the gadgets, because some of them were part of him.
He
all
exchanged his hands for pretend gadgets. And he holds up his floppy gloves as proof of this.
Yeah. Also, the big lad comes back.
The muscle man.
Him. Yeah. The mini clones start to flee. They grab them and start using them to shoot each other.
Grab the little bird guys. Oh, the little bird guy could shoot lasers too. Use them to shoot the other little bird guys. Good shit.
Your lad is just massively strong. He can just destroy the little ones.
He just pops them like that.
Yeah.
All of the patrollers do explode in like blood balloons. Yeah, you're quite right now. Which I like. It's a monster, but it's like, I don't know. It makes it more horrible because I mean, like, he's been shooting people this whole fucking time. He deserves a little gore directed at him, rather than from him. Yeah.
And upstairs, the second in commands are fighting more of them in the car park.
We see the kind of various things that they can do, like, Tokida with he's got his big gun, gets his arm blown off, and it's just like, I hit my hand. And then we see, like, the first ranked lieutenant of the Pink Squad has, like, a magical girl wand that can, I can make your boo boo all better, and also you can just, like, smash monsters over the head with it as well. It's
Patroller going, is it healing? No, regeneration. It's like he grew back a hand. That's not healing, Patroller. Yeah, it's magical healing. So yeah, and he just appears to have like what looks like a bazooka that Yamato no Orochi fucking comes out of.
Yeah,
Hmm.
also it seems to be flesh inside the weapon as well.
Yeah, it's
So,
like tendrils of the dragon, what then become dragon heads,
I
seemingly.
just,
Which
yeah, I see. It seems like the prize is all made out of bits of a dragon, and then Peltora mentions, why one of those little balloon birds is getting away. Ah, so I was a survivor after all. So naturally, she would have a vendetta against the Rangers.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so we
and it
get
shows
like
like this big screen of some
yeah,
priestesses and a big dragon in the background. So it's like, it's probably maybe a bit sore if their sacred dragon got cut to pieces and forged into weapons.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and that and
So
her kind of saying this is her aside when she muted the fight last episode. She was like, "I'll let one of you get away," that kind of thing. It was just like,
yes,
okay,
and it briefly gets away, but unfortunately, waiting at the top of the hole is the Pink Keeper, who kicks it into space.
I like the way
That's
this
for
is for my.
crushing my legs.
Yeah, I was like, this is for mom and pop and my legs. But now she has cool dragon legs that could kick you into fucking orbit. And I mean, like, it's just like, well, he's a monster. Mightn't that fucking survive? It's like, no, based on an earlier thing of where our Blue Ranger drowns one, it's just like, oh, you do need
Yes.
to breathe, and the laws of physics do apply to you, despite you turning into laser bird clones. So yeah, being in space, he's dead. He's fucking super dead.
Cars ain't coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
Until he does, and yet to be determined story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we get the Blue Keeper finishing off the Peltrollers he's fighting, and then we get into his flashback of how he became
Even
the Blue
before his
Keeper.
flashback, like another Blue Ranger is like Mr. President and pushes him out of the way and gets
Yeah.
a little bit shot, not murdered apparently. It's like, take my cartridge. So he's just like lending out his powers to everyone else in his fucking squad because he's such a cool, nice guy who acts like a prick. And his backstory is he's a prick because this world is like you got to be a prick to survive. What does he call himself?
But he
Rascals
cared,
or
but
something?
it was just it was like this world isn't made for scamps. Like
Scabs. Yeah.
fucking scamps.
Yeah, like I said before, some of the translation choices are a little odd.
Yeah.
The Rangers do stop non-monster crime as well. There's like these dudes do like
But stop
robbery.
non-monster crime. These guys are trying to rob a bank like van from delivering money or whatever the fuck. And the Red Ranger comes in, kicks their ass, takes 2 of the fucking cases, and leaves. I was like, that's a robbery. He just did a robbery on
Also,
the robbers.
It turns out to be monster crime because they're working for a monster.
I mean,
Which,
like they didn't know that.
no, but it also begs the question of like the vision of what the Dusters have of their leaders and the reality we see of it, where they just
Like,
appear to be
knocking off a
indulging
bank
in
van. Yeah.
scams, frauds, and robberies.
And engaging scamps to be the fall guy for your crime. The other thing, I didn't realize until partway into it, maybe I just wasn't paying attention or whatever, but I was just like, oh, now we're cutting to a different thing. It was like, oh, there's been more monster deaths, and I was like, oh, is that because of Petrola and stuff? Are we cutting to stuff after? I was like, oh, it's a flashback, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
It gives you the big like his name, age 18.
Yeah.
It's like took me a couple. I mean, there's other things which confuse
I think that's
me, but
intentional as well. It's just like, this is what else is going on. It's like, no, this is what has gone on. And
Well, so I saw he had one blue in his name, so I thought I wonder if he related to the Blue Rangers, and then like he gets his face clawed up, and everyone said, it's himself. Sure, of course it is.
Well, it's also him going from the hostess club with their they managed to get 1 case of money, so the boss, who is a monster later, is pretty happy with him. He goes to bring it to the Blue Ranger orphanage. The Blue Ranger's like, I'm no hero, I just gotta protect these children's of monster related or orphan children's of monster crimes, apparently seemingly is the theme of his orphanage. But and he seems like a really sound out guy. But
Too bad he's dead now.
It's a shame he's Uncle Ben, and he has to die to motivate our hero.
Die for our sins.
Yeah, and motivate him to be the new Blue Ranger, because as the Red Ranger was fighting him as bank robbers, it was just like, hey, you're pretty tough, you should be a ranger. And he's like, no way, I'm not some loser ranger. He didn't say that, but I mean, like,
and I've kidnapped you. I think you could be a really good Blue Ranger.
Now I've kidnapped you and your mentor is dead. I think you should work for me, or with me. I mean, sorry, let me change that a little
Did I say
bit.
for? I meant with. Yes.
Yeah. Either that or jail. Which one do you want? Also, there's all those fucking orphans. Just like, what's going to happen to them? I don't know. You don't know.
Think of the children.
Yeah.
That's why he's the most honest.
Yes. Yeah.
He's in this against his will and just wavering this opportunity he can to kill that fucking Flat Ranger.
Also, it is a good idea to kill
so
the
many
monsters.
others.
They are pricks, so I get where he's coming from there. Yeah.
I did like the bit where he said, "I'm during the fire. I'm doing it for Izomi's finally been revenged," and she gets up out of in the hospital bed going, "I'm not dead."
And it's one of those ones where the like cut reaction is kind of funny because the other characters are like, "Oh Jesus, you're out of the coma," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know, I'm fine now." Like it's an appropriate thing to kind of wake up and say, "I'm not dead," you know, the kind of like in the scene, but it also works as the transition joke. It's good overall, yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately for the Blue Keeper, he's still got one more fight to go as D arrives to kill him.
Which is kind of weird because D should have been like, wait, but everything went well on your thing. Why are you revealing yourself to be a monster? It's like, now for the final showdown. I was like, I guess I'm going to find out why he's doing that.
There's still a monster here.
I know your man got like gut shot with a laser beam, but because of the pink subordinate ranger guy having healing magic, I was like, can we just like cure everyone of all their fucking shit now? Like, I was wondering, was that on the table? It's like, because we were like, oh, the little curly head dude, he's totally dead. I was like, is he? Because we know there's a cure everything magic wand in the mix now.
And there was definitely a question about that, whether he is really dead, because unlike the other guy, we didn't see him get a massive hole shot in him.
Yeah, and also like cut to the subordinate Blue Ranger where she wakes up. I'm not dead. It's like, yeah, that'll happen. We think a character's dead, but no, they're not. That kind of way. Yeah.
And yeah, people get an arm cut off and they regenerate it. So yeah.
I'm fine with the stakes being lowered by magical healing and stuff because it's weird enough as it is. So yeah.
Yeah. So next episode is the last one of the season, and wrap this arc up. And Blue Keeper versus D.
Finally get to skip the car park. Right at the end of the tunnel.
They've blown enough holes in it at this stage to get out. So yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, people are really going to take the bus back home. There was somehow there were still cars which hadn't been blown up in that car park.
We would all have a Megazord. We could take the work boss. Sorry.
Then we got Kaiju number 8, episode 11. Kaiju number 8 captured, in which Kaiju number 8 has been captured.
I never realized how awkward the title of Kaiju number 8 is until you start numbering them as episodes. Like it just it does mess with the flow of saying
it. B. The penal code regarding Kaiju infiltrators.
We had to make it up just now because that's not been a problem up to now, but we did hear that foreign powers, which I presume means America, are experimenting with human Kaiju hybrids. You just have to assume it's the US, right?
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I don't know. Well, look, it could be Asia. It could be in China either. It depends. Well, it's like depends what happens in the news that week.
Sure.
We'll come down on one later. But
it could also just be them being paranoid.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a kind of a human Kaiju hybrid. It's like, no, we're not Kaiju hybrids. We wear these suits that close our bullet wounds. And I was like, how does that work exactly? Does it just fill it in with gauze? What's going on with that?
The parasite in Kafka, though, as we learned in this episode, cannot distinguish between the two, whether you're a Kaiju, whether you're somebody using a Kaiju weapon, and you're attacking it, or attacking its host, is going to think you're a Kaiju. Also, we see it only seems to want to kill Kaiju because it's saying Kaiju kill to Kafka when he's inside.
Automatic mode activated, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like we still haven't gotten to like when what's that thing? Where did it come from? And what's it doing in there? It's pointed the few times we've ever seen it was the instances then.
Yeah, they haven't really come back to that much since even. But yeah, I like the whole thing of him kind of like apologizing to his friend while locked up, and everyone giving him the honor guard / making sure he gets on the van to HQ. Absolutely, that we're not. And you ran thing was like he's saluting, and it's just like I'm saluting my captain as she leaves the base, and it's like, yeah, sure you are, buddy. Because you can't be saluting a Kaiju. That would be fucked up.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, totally, sir. Yeah, totally. Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm. Everyone knows, like, and again, like him, Kafka being told is like, yeah, no one in the third division thinks you're not part of one of us, basically. Which I was like, oh, that's nice. That scene still worked really well.
Yeah, as the end of the fun doing what they can, it's like we've been sent to other divisions. Is that like, is that like wasn't fun this whole incident? It's just like, no, it's been in the works for a time, which it sounds like to her more like she's just trying to make the best of a bad situation, and then you can have disperse these guys who have this sort of compassionate streak.
It's not about dispersing them so they can't support Kafka. It's more so it's like, no, this is good for you recruits, and the base is kind of fucked at the moment, so it makes sense to do it now.
But also seeing like someone like that in the other squads, maybe some of their attitude would work off and thing, and make him more open to say maybe making use of Kafka rather than dissecting him. Because the general is convinced. Here's the X-Ray's daughter, who I know you want to come in here for like a heart-to-heart, but I'm all business. He's got a heart no more. He's got a core instead. If that doesn't say fucking kaiju to me, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
You're scary, man.
And Kafka is again still being hopeful because of his squad supporting him and that kind of shit. But him trying to talk to the scientists running experiments, like, boy, I can't wait to go to my comfy bed. That's going to be great once I get out of here, right, guys? Guys?
More experiments today, fellas.
Yeah, they do have an experiment. It's like the general shows up, punches him really hard in the gut to make him bleed, and goes like, all right, put that in a sample bottle. All right, time to eliminate fucking Kaiju number 8. Experiment fucking over. I think that putting his blood in a test tube was just like to make it seem official as an experiment.
Well, it's fun. Like fun, fun. But let him out know if he's a thing he could break out if he wanted to. He's taking it for reason. He's fun saying, "I'm telling you, I'm human. I'm human, man." Everyone's saying, "Okay, human, huh?" Human skins can't stop bullets. Ergo, you are not
unless
human.
You're wearing one of these suits. Yeah, then it's absolutely fine. That's normal for us to wear these suits and stop bullets. But bear skin, no, you're obviously a kaiju. Your arm turned into a kaiju. Kafka's like, I'm just going to unkaiju, be as least kaiju and most Kafka as possible to prove that I'm a human. And that's very difficult to do as his limbs keep getting blasted the fuck off by piston punches, I guess.
Pile bunkers. I love me a good pile bunker, piston punch, pile driver fucking action right here. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
That is the first one they mentioned of numbered like kaiju when if and when they defeat them, they make extra special these are the boss weapons.
Yeah. Like again, the Monster Hunter influences kind of fucking rubbing off on
it. This one that was Sapporo in 72, but we got the drop on that guy by gum, and now he's working for us.
That extra edition of the knockoff Godzilla fucking theme playing is like, oh, that was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's some cool shit. It's just like what kind of family did Kikura have to come for to be a monster at her age now? I think it's this guy who just fucking wallops giant monsters with his fucking almost bare hands. He's just fucking punching them. And he's shaving his sideburns into those shapes every day. That's dedication and focus.
I can't grow hair that far up my face. I don't know how anime guys do it.
I know. Just the look of his head, the shape of it's like a bit very Lord Genome is from Gurren Lagann. That's what that kind of struck me now watching him again here.
Except he doesn't have a receding hairline like Genos. Yeah. But yeah, no, very similar. He's just really harsh with her. It's like he's a kaiju. He needs to be eliminated, and beats the shit out of Kafka to the point where his instincts / that fucking parasite in him goes like, hey, I've identified that as a kaiju. That's absolutely a fucking what's the high level kaiju? Hanju? That's a big one. So I'm just gonna put you on automatic, turn you into kaiju number 8, and we're gonna fucking take care of this. And so there's a bunch of flashy animation in it, but I guess we're gonna get some more of that next episode.
It's gotten down to enter stage in any of these stories from saying, am I a man or a monster? Oh, with this power, you can become a god or a devil. Which are you? Where does the man end and the monster begin?
Yeah.
You gotta have something like that.
Train to the End of the World, episode 12. What Was Normal again?
Hmm.
In which we get a chase along a train that unfortunately
You think a
isn't
train
quite...
chase would be exciting because a train chasing another train is like, well, that seems like it'd be very boring. It's like not if they're suspended in fucking tracks like in
In
later Sonic the
space.
Hedgehog games where where fall is infinite and also the zombies. The zombies are the best, most fantastic characters in the whole fucking thing because the things they can do with their bodies, horrifying and amazing.
Very like creative utilization of them there. Like, you know, like I didn't know they could serve as impromptu train tracks, but here we are. They're very coordinated as well. Like, you know, they're like but I thought ants that build bridges out of their own bodies.
Yeah. And the zombie queen's terrible whistling. She's not very good at though, like sticking the fingers in whistling. But I mean, I get the zombies know what to do in every given situation, so I got to give them that. Again, just the cartoon physics of them becoming train tracks at one point. So good shit.
Yeah, they're the better part of the chase. The not so good part of the chase is the train tracks.
Yeah. Because the
Trains.
sense of that's what I was saying. Is like those later fucking Sonic levels where it's all grinding rails, that kind of shit. It's just like there's not really much design to it, and therefore there's not much design to the stakes of the chase and everything. Yeah.
The sequence with the drones and the
Yeah.
You have to have the
turrets.
obligatory tank, but considering who's threatening it.
Yes.
Dear. At least the tank is wildly ineffectual, I guess. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, some of the-
mundane compared to what they've faced so far. You know, a
Yes.
tank.
Yeah,
Come on.
same with the drone. Like, I don't care if you made it like what was it, like a wooden owl or something like that. It's still like a drone shot. It's not interesting or creative as a lot of the rest of the show has been.
Yeah. And I mean the Virtual Boy controller thing. Also,
That's
some of
just
the
a
animations
reference.
at
Yeah,
that spot is, and when he's holding the gun, his arm is like really weirdly shortened.
foreshortened. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. When. That's well, we know they were kind of a bit
Yes.
bother
Yeah.
getting this one out, so they've had to.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
suspect that's why the two returning villains are dispatched incredibly quickly. Because I wonder whether whether there was last week's recap was supposed to be a real episode.
Yeah, so you gotta defeat all the guys teaming up or whatever, that kind of thing. Yeah, it does. A lot of it does feel rushed.
Yes, but at the same time, there's other scenes which feel very polished.
Those are the bits they wanted to get done. And
yeah, it's like
fair enough,
worse. It's worse when they're standing on top of the train, and it's better when they're in the train.
in the train was where the emotional character stuff happened, so that's the one they wanted to focus on, which is fair enough. I understand that. Yeah. It for me, it's mostly saved by use of creative zombies. But other than that, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. So they come back to their friend, and they use a magic plant. And some clips from
yeah,
because
all the girls bring them things to remind her of home, and it's like, why did you bring that flower pot? It's like, I don't know, I thought it was cool.
It's just what we need at this exact time.
Yeah, it was actually the perfect thing, turns out.
She's really slapping Shizu around in there. You know, she's going, okay, it's okay. I probably deserve that one. Maybe that one too. Okay, now you're just beating
now
me
you're
to
just
death.
strangling me in midair with your hair. That's a little fucking rough, actually. I think it's the sound effects and the speed of it really sell like the hurt that those slaps are doing. Yeah.
I like that. I like Pochi, the human Pochi, who is the crow from the first episode.
I was so worried he was dead when regular Pochi jumped at his face and just made that horrible dog snarling noise. I was like, oh, Jesus, human Pochi's dead. But then he turns up later and he's like, oh, he's fine. It's like, whoo.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
It's like, yeah, okay, I'm here to protect Yoko, so if what you're doing is the best thing for her, then carry on. I'm not going to stand in your way.
The thing that turned him on the top of the train was your man saying is like, you can't have her without what's the name of the area? I've forgotten the name of it.
Ikebukuro.
You can't have her without Ikebukuro, and you can't have Ikebukuro without her. And he's like, what do you mean by that? And it's like, oh yeah, it's all like self-sustaining and stuff. And also the characters have been onto the grown-ups back at home, and it's like, so you're gonna stop the end of the world, right? It's like, no, we're gonna talk to our friend. It's like, and stop the underworld. It's like it is related. Needs to be the one who presses the button. It's like okay, yeah, okay. I guess we'll save the world as well. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're united in their trying to help, including Human Bochi, who's like, yeah, he does want to do the best thing for her.
And I like that the guy in his swan boat is the guy who finally defeats our villain just by randomly appearing and landing on top of him.
I made my way all the way around the world.
Holy shit, the Witch Queen! It's like, come on, dude, that's not cool. Don't call people that. He's like, okay, sorry. I'm gonna bow out now that I'm the savior of everything for no reason.
Yeah. So I press the button and everything is put back slightly better than the way it was, but not as good as it was before the button was pressed the first time.
No, at least like back in hometown in Agano, they have their bodies back with all animal heads now. It's like, okay, well this is progress. It's like BoJack Horseman up in here. That was a pretty fun show. We can live with this.
Maybe this is the origin story.
And the tiny scientist, she's now too tall.
Too big. I mean, better. But I mean, she's going to need to eat more. But
some people are into that,
things on the high shelf.
she'll find someone. It'll be great.
I mean, she's going to stick to this guy who is he's more and more becoming a guy. Like 37 seconds longer today, that kind of thing. It's just like, okay, so he'll very slowly stop being a weird old man who can only say choo choo. Good, that's an improvement. As they're driving home on the train, there's the Tower of Babel is in the town. That kind of just randomly a couple of things are wrong. Oh, the zombies. So all those dead zombies are definitely dead, but these are humans who used to be zombies, who now have the brain mentality of a zombie, but they are humans, which is better, so they won't rot. But they still follow the zombie queen. She's like, I guess I just won't do the makeup thing anymore because that doesn't really make sense. But it's better. It's an improvement.
There's also loads and loads of chickens in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I guess they replace the pigeons there. So we get a lot of chickens instead.
That's not so bad. It's fine. It's interesting, and that's the kind of thing about it of like the thesis of it just being like, listen, we can't get things back to the way they were, but we can make them pretty good. Like change is good. Like keeping it lockstep is the bad fucking part. The world being trapped like this for what was it, like 3 years is the worst part. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels might be a little bit some of the worry there that like, well, we've been fucking we've had our thumb up the arse as a civilization trying to fucking solve climate change, and there's no dodging like a law that's going to be some damage. So we might not be able to fucking completely hold it up, but maybe we can kind of get things going so they're pretty good, and we'll just have to embrace this new normal together, people.
Yeah. That does seem the way it goes, and I was like, yeah, that's not bad as a message goes, and it's like you can't repair your friendship to the way it was when you were kids, but you can grow and learn and still like work it out, that kind of thing.
Go skiing while you can, because someone's gonna hit a button somewhere and like completely fuck up the world.
Also, don't skip G's. That's an important thing I learned about this. It's like go numbers in order. That's just how it's done.
We'll get there eventually, like a train to the end of the world.
Yeah. Doesn't quite land its ending as effortlessly as Astro Note did.
No. Again, it's just that I guess they had their minds on other things, just getting the second thing out on air. So I think it's happened now. There's having to kind of hamstring a production like that in this and think, oh yeah, well that last bit was pretty kind of rushed, wasn't it? But you can't forget like all the fucking rest as well. It was a good. It worked very well as a sort of like a semi-anthology thing. We're gonna we'll stop on this station. There's gonna be some weird shit happening. We're gonna skip all of these. These are all too weird. We can't make a story about that.
Yeah, and despite it being like the constant through line of we need to go get to our friend, it's like you can just watch a random episode and like it's a fun romp of its own fucking thing. Yeah.
Then now I have to ask the question: how many episodes of Suicide Squad Isekai did everybody watch?
I just watched one. I made a mistake.
I just watched the one because I wasn't sure, like, is this one thing we're going to drop 3 at once and there won't be any for the next 2 weeks, or do we drop 3 and just want to keep on going?
Yeah, it was weekly, but I was like, shit, we were supposed to watch the first one or just the first and second one? I wasn't sure. So
I watched the first one and we're getting the gist of it anyway, so
yeah.
What I was looking for more so.
Same.
Yeah, so I won't talk about the second and third one.
Sorry.
But yes, first episode is it's Suicide Squad, and it's an isekai, except the goddess who's sending the characters to another world is Amanda Waller.
I mean, that's it there. That's pretty good. I like that. As your is that the main twist besides it being DC?
Well,
I guess
well,
as well.
is this nice? It was actually like a fucking actual reason why we're being here. They're being centered because we need you to initiate regime change in this fantasy world so we can exploit resources.
Yes, that's it's so Suicide Squad in terms of the
Yeah,
Ostrander
we're not going
Yale
to send
comics
you
from
to
the
like
80s.
it's not Amanda Waller sending you to the Middle East, which is like nowadays you're like fucking U.S. colonialism and shit. It's like no, don't worry.
No.
It's elves and orcs. It's just like okay, that's alright.
Those
It still
pigs made a
is.
panic coming. They hate our lives and our freedoms.
It is still very much about US military adventurism.
But
So
it's more palatable because it's like you can kill pigmen with wild abandon. They're subhuman. It's just like I don't know. They seem pretty sad when they're
Demi-human. That's not cool to say anymore.
yeah.
But it does start off
Yeah.
with like their version of the DC universe, and I was like, "Oh, this is a bad start," because they're trying to make the Joker cool, and I was like, "Don't make the Joker cool. I don't like that. He's got a piano car. No idea how the fuck long. You know the way the Joker's like an agent of chaos, and that's the way they always push it, or a lot of guys, right? It's like, how long did it take to A, plan and implement, and then fucking build that fucking car, and B, how long did he train to learn how to play the piano car to do police chases with? I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. But I guess they think it's cool. Like that's the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the first 10 minutes is Harley and Joker, and then Harley being caught by Katana.
Hmm.
Then we get Amanda Waller opening a portal to another world. And
I need a new
second
place
half,
to invade. It basically, is
Yes.
Amanda Waller's like, no, we pushed the fucking envelope, which is like, yeah, that's her. That makes sense.
and then the second half is recruiting, forcibly recruiting various prisoners from Belle Rouge prison to go as a Suicide Squad to another world, and these are Harley Quinn, Deadshot, the movie version, the
Clayface.
Killer Clayface, Killer Shark, and Peacemaker.
I like the inclusion of Clayface, and this seems like one of the fun, like lean into the actor fucking thing. I was like, that could be fun.
We did a pretty
He's the
man
highlight.
here.
He's the highlight
Yeah.
of episode 2.
Because it's what I feel is like it's just like yeah the guys from Suicide Squad, that's fine, okay, I get why you're doing that, and there's like Clayface, it's like all right, a new fucking pick, I like it, okay.
Yes, and it feels like he feels like a version of the one they're running in the Harley Quinn cartoon of the the failed actor, but the way they were leading into it in episode 2 is fantastic with him. Yeah, so they get sent to the world with a guy who we'll never see again because he gets killed immediately as they enter the other world.
He's no
Rick
Rick
Flag,
Flag, no.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to be like what's his name, Rick Flag, is it?
No,
Rick Flag.
You'd know
Flag
if it
is
was
in
Rick
this.
Flag.
Yeah, it's not,
Yes.
but I thought he was doing that role, but it's like immediately fucking killed, and I was like, okay, I guess not then.
No, because we kind of see at the end, but Katana just recruited fucking Harley Quinn in our world, but then goes reports to some fantasy person, like, veiled in shadow in at the end of the episode. She's working both sides of this, and maybe a few others are in there. Like Killer Croc and somebody else is in there.
It certainly is. Yes, and Rick Flag is in this.
Okay, yeah, cool.
We have to wait long to see Rick Flag. So yeah, they're basically in their prison fatigues, fighting it's orcs and
Pigmen.
ogres.
Yeah, the classical pig goblin orc type guy. Yeah.
And it does the thing I'll always be a sucker for in the action of like freezing it and then giving their name and a little
Doing
line
the
about
slow-mo
what they
thing
are.
when they're in their full costume as opposed to like their the prison do. Yeah.
This is what supposed to look like.
So yeah, they fight these monsters and then immediately get captured by the Queen's Knights and put back in prison. This time, a medieval fantasy one.
See, I mean, like the cut I was talking about before with the, it's like, I'm still alive. Very funny, good, works in context. The thing was like, and we'll be hailed as heroes. And then Clayface is then behind bars. He's like, hmm? So it's like, that's a joke that doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? It's the opposite thing. That needs to work in context. Like, he didn't realize he was being put in prison up until this moment. It's like, no.
No, he's funny. He's funny about them. You'll see. He's a little too into Isekai. Is the gag in the second episode? He's the only
I
one
feel
who
like
has the
he works better
cultural
because
Preferred
context.
term.
you had that Harley Joker thing. It was like, if only there was a world where there was cool booze and I don't know, elves maybe. I don't fucking know. Like they're talking about this bullshit, and I was like, yeah, you know, you're gonna get Isekai because you know you're genre savvy. But he's just like, I haven't been in a fantasy movie in a hot minute. Okay, like he's up for it. He actually knows the fucking term Isekai. It's like Alice in Wonderland. It's like, this is more like Lord of the Rings. No, like an Isekai. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Fair enough.
Yeah,
They're Clayface.
That's the key to the second episode. Is like
He's
him
genre savvy.
realizing
Yeah, okay.
the genre he's in and it not helping him in the slightest.
Yeah.
I went to a fantasy world understanding the premise, but it didn't fucking work out for me. That's the long fucking light novel title.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really want to see what if we're going to do Gold thing altogether because I was skeptical kind of going into because that's just like it's a loaded term. It's one I'm allergic to.
Yeah.
But as I said, okay, we'll see what they kind of have in it, and it has a bit more of, I suppose, pulling from a bit like of that better Suicide Squad film recently. The Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Yes, it's very, and also Peacemaker with its this time of the dancing's at the end of the episode as opposed to Peacemaker where it was at the start.
Yeah. And this, it was also like remember your Drifters too. And I got to wonder, no, we're never getting any more of that. But this might be on the pinch because it has a sort of kind of thing like, you know, when we're at a place, you know, when we have fucking M16s and fucking all those other kind of fun stuff where Windows doesn't really fit in here. And it's not like a fantasy M16, it's just an M16 as is.
And the other thing it has with Drifters is it's an isekai in two regards, in it being like a genre kind of mashup, in that obviously Drifters, you got like, hey, remember Billy the Kid? What would he do to an elf? You know, it's just like you understand the rough kind of character from history / fictional history, and putting that in fantasy world is like, yeah, I get that. Where this is like, you know, DC guys, the most popular ones, yeah, them in that situation. So it's like, yeah, okay, you can see the kind of the fun play they could do off the two, basically. Yeah.
Yes, and I think the second episode, animation wise, is fine, but it's got some good gags. Episode 3, it goes a bit wild, animation wise.
Good wild?
Good wild. And
okay.
Also, but a lot of it is in service to gags as well.
That's probably the way to go, because I found the first episode I found a bit, it's like, this is all very technically good. The fight with Harley and Katana on the rooftop, I was just like, this feels like you were in a very small room and you're just like, come up with some Jackie Chan shit, and she's like, okay, pushes over a ladder, and I was just like, man, this is not, it's all like there's a good weight to it, there's good motion, but it feels like, yeah, just kind of not rotoscoped. It feels kind of simple enough stakes, of the kind of low stakes.
I sort of like how it kept going, where she kept like, you know, getting from one scuffle into the next, and she's in a car, she's around at a bank, she goes through a local bar, but one guy's waiting for the jumper, she tests him out and escapes onto the roof, and she's waiting for her there, just kind of keeps getting into this shit.
Yeah,
like, I'm just tired now. I don't take this serious. I just want to kind of just kick boxes at you. It's like, turn like that.
She gets exceptionally lazy. It's like, I don't fucking know, man. I've been fighting all fucking night. I'm kind of done with this now. If it was played for a joke, it would nearly work better. Yeah. But there was a bunch of it that kind of did the thing of it speeds up the animation to make it look more animated, that kind of fucking way, like when the orcs are running away, that kind of thing. I was just like, it doesn't quite work that well. Yeah.
It wasn't so bad.
It's not bad, like that's the thing. I could by no stretch call it bad, but it's just like something slightly off about it for me so far.
I'm enjoying it a lot, and I think it's I like this version of the Suicide Squad. We should say, which is the original 80s comic version, the James Gunn version, and this it has a satiric note to it, and
yeah.
it works surprisingly well with putting them in this genre. Also, I will say the classic anime pulling your eyelid down and sticking your tongue out is a very good move to give to Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
just
It
works for
is a
that
her
character.
face.
She sells it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the other thing is that like my main problem with Suicide Squad in general as a concept is kind of like, oh, it's a great, like you say, it's great to kind of play off the regular DC thing, of which they've never successfully done in any other thing besides the comics. So it's just like, hey, look at this, it's the DC but all subversive. It's like, you've never done a proper version of the DC for this to be subversive. You don't get a Superman to contrast this off, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I don't want to pin too much high hopes in now, but I would hope that like it's just going to fun bulldoze through so much of this kind of alternate fantasy world shit. I hope if I fun encounter a round city and go, who would fucking set up a city of that? The defenses in this are just like, oh god, who designed this? Just blood just blitz straight through it,
Yeah.
There's something close to what you might want in episode 3 along those lines.
I just want to see his
good.
creeps go down,
No, these characters aren't the sort who are going to criticize architecture like that. It's a lot more dirty pair.
But that kind of joke, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know where the show's going, but that's just, and it's going in I think it's going in a very DC Comics related direction. For better or worse, it might be worse.
I know.
See, when I talk about things like being,
this time.
when I talk about things being logical and that kind of shit, like I don't need lore and that kind of stuff to make sense. But like, if it's leaning into, it's like, oh, remember the magical fucking side of the DC universe? We're gonna get Clarion the Witch Boy, are we? Because that's a magic guy. I'm trying to think what magic side of DC I actually like.
You see Enchantress at the end. You see Killer Croc at the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
I can't remember if you see the person who's in episode 3. Yeah, more things will make clear when Rick Flag shows up and explains some more of the plot.
Okay. Fair.
Of which there's a running gag where they've got this deadline, because that's the thing we've got to mention. They've got bombs in their heads, and they've got to get it reset every 72 hours, otherwise their heads explode.
If you don't follow orders, it explodes. If you try and run away, it'll explode because in 72 you need to receive this radio signal.
And the guy who can reset it is dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a thing throughout the following episodes where they really don't take that deadline seriously, and it infuriates some of the other characters.
These are very suicidal characters, so you probably shouldn't really be weirded out by that anymore.
Yeah. It's like they're all just not quite smart enough. I guess Harley's technically the smartest person of the crew.
She has a doctorate, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If they were so smart, they wouldn't be in prison now. What would
yes.
You have a weakness for something. Money, booze, women, something else.
Some kind of excess, yeah.
Killing people, vanity, and landed you in here.
Being a shark, that's also a sin.
Yes, get creatures not obviously not meant to walk on land. God decreed it, so you are a sin unto all creation.
Then we got Chibi Godzilla raids again, episode 12 of season 2, Chibi Manilla's first errand. In which
it did make me want to watch that fucking
Old enough.
show again.
Yeah,
that show is fucking adorable.
Because that's what it's parodying here. Along with, but then it turns into other parodies, which delays Chibi Manilla from doing her first errand.
Because it's also like there's kind of like a not quite Taskmaster element, but similar kind of thing. It was like, okay, and there's a clock, says Godzilla, like who's refusing to stop narrating and freaking around. It's like, I'm on a fucking timer. Oh shit.
Yes. She's gonna have to ask directions. I know where it is. She's gonna have to ask directions. I don't know what. She's gonna have to ask directions. Okay, I'll ask directions. And then ask Ghidorah directions, and Ghidorah, each head tells her different. thing, and she has to guess which one of them is lying.
No, two of them say the same thing, because one says it's straight, one says it's left, and the other one says it's neither right nor left, which is straight. And it's like, well, then it's obvious which one is different.
One of us tells only half truths.
But it apparently took Minilla like 85 minutes to solve this puzzle.
I assumed it was just a long walk to the shops. Yeah, it's a big monster island for a little monster. It's the same cunt running the shop. I assume he's going to run all businesses.
Yes, it's that janky waiter we had. This time she's all she's got to do is buy a potato.
Yeah.
But this guy wants to sell bananas.
He's got a load of bananas. He's got to offload on this kid. Yeah. And obviously the twins are just like waiting for the beautiful tears of a small child doing adorable things. But
instead, they get an atomic breath blasting, which is just like a single sort of smoke circle of an atomic breath blast.
Yeah, I mean, that's as much as Minilla in the movies has been capable of as well, so that's fair.
Yeah. And that's your end. But yes, it was funny because it was a parody, and a parody we recognised.
Yeah,
this time.
Yes. Then we got Windbreaker, episode 13, For a Friend, in which we get the start of the next arc, and then you have to wait 6 months or whatever it is before you see the rest of it.
Pretty rude. Pretty rude to just leave it off just there.
And we don't get any good fight choreography, but we get a sweet corridor chase. I was really enjoying. Like, I went back over that a few times, going like, oh, I can see where they cut from a different animator here. It's like good use of the CG background. I love their copy paste graffiti and stickers that school is just a fucking mess, but it's really nicely done. I get to appreciate it more, just that whole scene.
Also, earlier we get it made clear of like Kaji is the second year who we met previously.
Yeah.
Who's like, it makes it clear with him of his attitude at this meetup of all the other leaders on the roof is like, okay, we shouldn't expect Sakura to get fixed too quickly because they haven't finished fixing the previous Sakura we had here.
He's on the way. He's already accepted his friends. Like Sakura's just getting to that point. So yeah.
But yes, he's still not all the way there. So I thought that's a good use of that character. It was like, set your expectations for how Sakura's going to develop by having somebody who's like a year older
and hasn't figured it out in a year, basically. Yeah.
It was the bit where he's like, we're talking, you can speak to your brothers. I'm not a brother. He's not my brother. I'm an only child.
It's like, yeah, we can tell. We can tell. But it's not a problem.
Let us just explain the metaphor.
Just take everything literally. If I'm like, no, oh yeah, you speak to him with your fists.
Yeah.
Fists. You're not like a fucking new type Sakura. It's just like
I thought he was going to talk to me.
There's a new gang in town. They're going around in hoodies with blue dragon skeletons on them.
Ooh.
And they're called Keel. And they've beaten up one of Sakura's classmates who claims it was a big dog the size of a bear.
Like, the difficulty isn't that there's a new tough gang in town beating up one of our guys. It's like, yeah, that's fucking simple. That was day one shit. The difference here is like, this guy doesn't want to admit that they're doing that. And it's like, okay, we need to figure out why he's not asking for help, or like, obviously we can't help him if he doesn't fucking want to be helped, right? Or until we figure out why to help him, what the problem is, basically.
Yes. So he leaves, then Sakura follows, and we see him having
and all the classmates are kind of like, don't worry, Sakura's got this. They're just kind of leaving it to him.
He's turning it over in his head because he's getting thinking, okay, fine, be a leader, fucking the whole thing you got, like watch out for your boys. So like, I'm not sure what that is, but I can see one of my boys who's now in my stewardship is fucking he's in something. So I gotta figure that out. I don't want to be fun dealing with that every day either.
Yeah, so we see him, the boy, having a conversation with one of his childhood friends. It's a girl. Shock. It's the sister watching this show. And they're discussing a third friend who has fallen in with this Keel gang, and he's up to no good. But the gang themselves are bullying him, and it's like he caught him stealing a purse. pulled back the hood and recognized his friend. This is what we're going to do. I can't ask the gang to do it because they're all about protecting this area, and
That's
this is
protecting the
about
town.
going
This is outside
outside
the
the
town.
area.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what, so I'm just going to have to do it myself. And then he leaves. Sakura shows up and goes, "Tell me what he just said."
Explain the plot to me, girl, and please do not look at me too much. I will get too embarrassed.
I do have leftovers
crying
though,
now.
but they're mine. We can't have them.
Yeah,
Again, very cat-like behavior.
Yeah,
It's good shit.
she explains it. She starts crying. She starts crying. Then he remembers what the girl at the restaurant told him. Just, this is the word you say. Leave it to me. Okay, leave it to me. And then she starts saying, "Oh, thank goodness for that. That's put my mind at rest." God, I'm getting very hungry.
It's
Like, this is mine. And as you say, it is the cat.
He's like, I
creating-
wasn't gonna ask for any of your takeout food. It's cool. But yeah, he's been pretty good. When his friend gets a ransom letter. I want to call it a ransom letter, essentially, like Mita's by the fucking park or whatever the fuck. Mita's in 6 months, basically. It's less after school at this stage.
It's a long walk to the abandoned shipyard.
Yeah, because they're beating up his friend. They've sent. How do they print that photo out? They must have a fucking like
Polaroid.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They've all put their little marks in and everything as well. But yeah, Sakura chased him down. I was like, I know roughly what's happening. You're one of us. We gotta look out for each other. To which the entire class goes like, yes, absolutely. We roll it out. And the rest of school is going, oh Jesus, they're starting shit again immediately.
Also, we woke up Sugashita because it would look really bad if he was the only one who did not come along.
He hasn't been paying attention to any of this. He was there at the start with the meeting where the boss was kind of.
He was watering the plants.
Essentially the meeting was like, hey guys, you take care of your guys, do your job. But mostly what he wanted is like, check out the new fucking crop. Sugashita helped. And he's like, yes. Like, he's very happy the fact that it's just like, yeah, the leader has said that I am useful. Now I can sleep for this entire episode. And
here are the four heavenly kings and a heavenly queen. You know one of them, Kakado. Here's the other three. You know their names. You never meet them now in front of a half year.
Yeah.
Oh, but it looks so cool. We haven't even done it. I said, yes, yep. They haven't done anything yet. Neither will they.
I believe we have to deal with this. No, I think you have to wait for this arc to finish before we get to know what one of theirs deal is.
I mean, like, the one guy's deal is like he's stressed and has to take a lot of stomach medicine. That's a great character fucking bit. Like, what's the other guy's deals? We'll find out eventually.
We'll find out, yeah. And so, yeah, it ends with the entire class leaving school to go and beat some people up.
We're just going to have a talk. You know, this is purely like, you know,
talking is with your fist, Niall.
Fact-finding mission.
Yes.
Community outreach.
We're not doing this as for in high school. We're doing this as it's your friend.
It's like day fucking 5 of school, like, and you're willing to roll the fuck up on another gang because of your friends all of a sudden.
God damn it, Sakura, that's your jurisdiction. We're like, you know, a delinquent gang. Like, we consider ourselves like, you know, above the law. We ignore it. Yeah, but you can only break the law if it's in service of the community. Aside from this, like, you know, it's like a lot of the delinquent like manga kind of bits are in here. I think it's like, I'm not sure what the author's like, you know, what he did in a former life, but it's like, I think it's like examining like management styles and like, you know, how like team building, like, you know, things. And he was like, oh, you take someone to your wing, you know, watch out for like, it's like Sakura's looking to Umemiya and his kind of, I don't know, style of things and top of a delegation and fucking like getting to know everybody's names so that you can make proper like communication and make eye contact so you get to know them and they get to know you.
And it's not just about like delegation of like the different roles lower in the ranks. They're all very important. It's about not just being the strongest guy, but being able to be reliable, as they put it already. It's just like, yeah, we rely on you as a leader to kind of get us through this. Not like I'm the boss, I'm the biggest guy in the playground. It's like, no. How you get to be the top guy is everyone goes like, oh yeah, you're fucking cool. I would follow you, that kind of thing. Which is, yeah, it's been fulfilling that slowly, and obviously it's going to be even slower since we're going to be waiting a while for more of this show.
Yeah. Marjorie gets stuff done, so we're going to need lots of them to get more of this soon.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. They'll be busy with. What are they busy with next? Elusive Samurai Studio is. So.
Yeah. And that's got some. The comic at least has some very weird visuals that I'm curious as to how they're gonna manage.
They're going to be CG horses, and it's not going to be like, and then our dreams of a steel ball run adaptation are put on the long finger again.
Yeah. I mean, like horses are terrifying things to animate because they're just giant bags filled with musculature and
It's
skeletons.
like it's like splitting the atom. If we just crack how to like get like accurate horses that look like absolute total shit on anime screens again, it will unlock so many possibilities for our culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's coming up for next week on our radars?
Let's see here.
My dear friend Nokotan.
Yep.
Red Cat Ramen, but I don't know where that's streaming, if anywhere.
You will find out the day before or the day of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, so this would be up to, for our purposes, up to the 5th. So I've got on my radar Grandizer, You, Dungeon People, and Quality Assurance in Another World.
I guess we're going to get another boom of fantasy stuff again.
Oh yeah, it's summer, so it's all your fantasy light novels get 12 episodes of mediocre anime.
Something to look at, I guess.
No, not that one. Not that one. Nope. Nope. Okay. Yeah, boy, this different. Oh, for different Nokotan. When's that on? 7th.
I've got it down here as July the 3rd for my dear friend Nokotan.
Maybe because that's out of date. They have it down for the 7th. Maybe I suppose they could be wrong. And when is that on? 14th, 3rd. Yeah.
Because now we got Kaiju ending, we got Loser Ranger ending. Besides Chibi Godzilla and Isekai, Suicide Squad is nothing else ongoing, is there? From what we're already watching, yeah.
Except for the occasional dip into Detective Conan and
Sure.
One Piece.
Maybe it was on that week.
Did catch a few scenes of recent One Piece episodes, which were pretty flashy. I didn't watch the entire episodes. It's the bit where Zoro, Luffy, and Kaku and Lucci are fighting the Seraphim.
Oh, okay, they're that far up to it already. Okay, cool.
Yes,
they're really nipping its fucking heels. Yeah.
I think you find that's about a year ago in the comic.
I thought it feels fucking recent. I guess there's been so much fucking revelations recently. Yeah, fair enough.
Extended breaks.
Still, like a fucking year up to date is pretty good for One Piece.
I think it's been about a year behind for a while now.
It's been maintaining it. Yeah, okay.
And they take breaks with like episodes of where they just do like a recap stuff. Yeah, is there anything on the Crunchyroll news which says when their things are arriving? And anyway, not too much to be added.
No,
this coming week, I don't think. I think Kinnikuman's now announced for Netflix, but no date.
I see here the 14th. But that,
yeah, I think that's the date it's airing in Japan. I'm not sure if that's going to be the date.
Right. But I better not fucking like this for the fucking some weird Netflix fucking delay in it. I've been waiting for that shit.
Or it's going to be Netflix in certain countries and not out.
Yeah.
We will see.
Do you want enough, huh?
Yeah, because I feel like we would have, if it was coming in English to Netflix soon, we'd have had a trailer from Netflix about it.
Yeah, they tend to make it known.
Yeah, instead we're learning about that Terminator anime in August. So that's it for this week. Nothing else, I think. I've not watched any
Hmm.
more of the Little Golf Boy, so I can't tell anything about that.
No, nothing of recent or substance that I can think of
No.
anyway.
Okay.
I watched some things from the mid-90s, but they don't fall into our remit.
As I've watched the most 90s thing, the Fatal Fury the motion picture. I don't know.
Yes.
It's all back, baby.
I saw that at an anime convention in the mid-90s.
It's
Which I
still
guess
got
was
it.
probably the most mid-90s way for me to have watched it. Rightio, that's it for now. Ta-ta.
Wait.
Later, Gators.